Yo, guys. Oh, man. AMC. Halted. This is about to get insane. Some crazy stuff, guys. So AMC is halted off of news. This is probably an extended halt. I'll talk about what that means. But yeah, it's some pretty serious stuff for the Bulls, right? Usually this kind of halt, if I'm right, which I've seen halts like this happen before with a few stocks, so we'll go over those. But these types of halts, guys, last anywhere from hours to weeks. It's not something we can predict on that. I've seen stocks halt for weeks before with this type of with these types of news. This one's an extended halt, meaning that it wasn't halted prior to the news coming out. Right, a lot of these news halts, they'll halt the stock first, and then there will be some kind of catalyst coming in the coming weeks. But in this case, we have a catalyst. Then for about 5 minutes, the stock trades, and then we have a halt. So it looks like if it doesn't come back today, guys, this could last a few days to weeks. Crazy stuff. Yeah, it can get crazy, man. Okay. And yeah, there's a lot of question on like what happens with options and stuff like that. I'll get into that as well. But yeah, man, this is just crazy. I'm like trying to take this in here. Okay. So let's pull up the catalyst here and kind of go over it. Okay. So, for those that don't know, the catalyst is collaborative refinancing transactions extend up to 2.4 billion of debt maturities to 2029 and beyond. So this is a pretty big catalyst, and I'm sure that whatever the reason is with this halt. Typically stocks don't halt like this, but this is why I'm saying this is probably an extended halt because there's going to be more clarification, or at least there's more clarification coming, which clearly these brokers and institutions feel the need to halt the stock for that. And yeah, it didn't break the rules of like your traditional halt, right? Traditional halts happen when the stock rises at least 10% or declines at least 10%. That's typically the rule. So the fact that AMC is halted based off of just this catalyst here has me thinking we do have an extension coming, or a longer duration, right, for this halt. Now, the ones that are asking about options and stuff like that, you can still exercise contracts, right, if they are in the money, depending on how long this is halted for. I'll give you guys an example of a stock that did this, and we had this on the Discord a while ago. This was like 2022, I believe. BBIG, for those that don't remember. Okay, this one is right now it's a penny stock, but at the time, okay, we had a pretty major POI we were tracking. Okay, and this happened in August 2022. All right, so the difference between this and AMC is we didn't have any prior catalyst, right? It just halted. The stock just halted. And this lasted about a week and a half, guys, from August 4th to the 16th, when when the price resumed. This thing went up like 100 and I mean, look at this. It went up 100% initially, and then it kept going up. And AMC's behaving similarly to this. But again, it's a little bit weird to me that we do have a sort of catalyst associated with it. So they're probably trying to expand or something on what this kind of means for AMC in the long term. But yeah, BBIG did this. There's a few other stocks that have done this as well. And yeah, this doesn't faze me at all. Okay, they pick stocks that have extreme volatility. BBIG was known in the meme community. You saw it on Reddit, pretty much everywhere. It was just part of this meme basket. So that's probably where we're headed. I can't say how long this is going to last, guys, but again, just based off of that, it could be anywhere from a few hours to weeks. All right. Now dude, this is crazy. Like GME, even GME is not much is happening with GME right now. It's only up 2%. AMC is up 2.4%. It's a little odd to me. Just a little odd to me that they would let this thing trade for 5 minutes, because these 5 minutes, that's enough, guys, for anybody really to jump in. And that's why it's a little sus. It's a little sus to me that they would halt this thing. It's already been close to 40 minutes since they halted. You're at 240. 1240. Yeah, it's been about 40 minutes, and the stock has not resumed its trading. So unlikely that they would resume it today. Possibly tomorrow, maybe tomorrow. But the more that this is halted, or the longer that it's halted, the more pressure, the more people are going to be talking about this, the more likely it is to have an explosive move, right? Again, with BBIG, when it got halted for weeks, everybody was talking about it on Reddit, on Twitter, everywhere. People were covering it on YouTube, right? This is the same thing. The longer they halted, the more eyes are going to come in on it, meaning the higher the chances that this experiences a pretty major push to the upside. Unless they come back with like a crappy catalyst, that wouldn't be the case, right? If they come back with some bearish catalyst, then that we would have the opposite effect. But it's unlikely that would be the case, considering that we just experienced a little fake out here. We have a little wick sort of hanging. And yeah, volatility, man, on these calls are crazy right now. Absolutely crazy. Like, even just on both sides of the chain, implied volatility at now that's very common, right? It's very common when they halt the stock for volatility to increase like that. They're also, market makers are also able to shift the volatility a little bit. You'll see it happen. Different brokers have different volatility levels, and right now, yeah, I mean they're just sitting at crazy numbers. Very normal thing to happen, but once it does resume, depending on where the price opens at, a lot of that is going to affect and sort of normalize these numbers a little bit. Okay, so yeah, this is definitely overdue in the sense that, well, this catalyst here, it say the price resumes tomorrow, right, and we start trading up in the $7-8 range. That these are the levels that we've been talking about here for a little bit, right? AMC has been tracking this reaccumulation sequence for quite some time. One of the things that we cover in the algorithm is how quickly the reference patterns that we track, right? They all have a very similar structure. And the one thing we've been tracking here, I'll pull up a few. We have GIVO, we got Loom, AMTX, Plug. Okay, and what all these have in common is the structure, right? The structure that AMC is currently developing. Now, the timing is what makes the phase here a fractal, right? Because certain sections are sped up or slowed down in the algorithm. All right, so this entire section here could be, could be a few days, could be a few months. The one thing that we're tracking here and we're paying attention to are the levels. And AMC did respect the $5 range here. So this has me thinking, guys, when this comes back in, looking at all of these different, patterns, okay, they're all calling for a retest back at resistance. And this is where I think AMC is going to head next. Regardless of time here, we do track the cycle, the 62-day cycle, which right now has been pretty accurate. Okay, 62 days from the last volatility event would have been sometime in mid-July. So, we're in the range for this POI to still hit, but it would be delayed a little bit. And if it does kick in here in the next few days, then those would be some of the levels we would be tracking for short-term resistance, which is just absolutely crazy because, yeah, man, this hasn't happened on AMC. Like, this sort of halt here has not happened on AMC ever. So crazy, crazy stuff. I mean, these halts last 5 to 10 minutes max. Yeah, kind of crazy to see all this happen this way. Here's the sectors vortex. It's a little indicator we use to track the meme stocks, the cannabis sector, the crypto, and some of the other tech volatility stocks here in the market. And one of the things that caught my eye here last week, so the crypto, or not the crypto, the green rush, so the cannabis sector has also been pumping a little bit. Usually there is that correlation here we can see here in green, where they tend to go first. And this has been an ongoing thing, guys, for quite some time. They tend to go first before the meme stocks. So the fact that we are seeing, CGC, for example, CGC is one of the stocks that started pumping here last week. They're up, right? They're up quite a bit, 30% in 1 week. They're pumping a little bit. Same with the crypto sector. And now, if AMC and GME start pumping here in the next few days, we'll check out. Yeah, this is, I mean, it's almost been an hour now. It's unlikely that it would resume today. For options, by the way, guys, I did mention this just briefly, but you get to exercise if they are in the money. Unfortunately, if they are not in the money, then that it's just a crappy thing. But if they are not in the money, they do expire worthless. That's just the way options work. Um, but yeah, if they are in the money, you're still able to exercise them. Which, in this case, say you exercise the contracts, and say this doesn't open up this week or something. If you exercise the contracts, then well, you get it at the price, right? If it does, say it runs up 100% or something the following week, well, then at that point you have the shares and you benefit off of that, 100% push. That's just the way options work, man. That's the risk involved with them. Unfortunately, um, yeah, when they halt stocks, they also halt the option chain. Yep, and now NYSE saying that the halt is for pending news, so that it does check out. I posted this a little bit ago when the halt happened. It just seemed odd to me that the stock was not opening up after that 10-minute mark. So yeah, again, whenever that happens, that usually means that there's either something else that they are going to release, or that they're evaluating the evaluating other factors as to why or what the catalyst means, how volatility will affect the stock. These are all risk factors that they have to take with the reasoning behind these halts. Um, just super super weird to me that they would let it run for 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes here, guys. A little dump, pump, and then halt. Super super weird. But yeah, let's talk about the chart here for a little bit and see what this means, because for all the patterns, guys, we've been tracking, all it's been saying pretty much is this range here, this theta channel, is has been bullish the entire time, because we haven't crossed the $4 range for a while. So it's just been trading sideways since May. And this is why it's bullish, because with these fake outs, what tends to happen is you come back to support, and if you're trading sideways, then it just tells you that this is like a massive dead cat, right? That you're going to come back and distribute more. But because we've been just trading sideways, they've been drying out, consolidating the price for this long. This just checks out, just fully checks out. We get a massive run to the upside here when it resumes, and the cycle is back in tracking as we've been intending it to, which is this macro trajectory change. Okay, so this is the phases in the AMC cycle. Okay, here are the phases. Okay, declining, redistribution, accumulation, and then redistribution, or reaccumulation. You come back to resistance, and that is the target here for this run up, because because the stock is still halted. So anywhere between $8 and $12 would be the target for reaccumulation. You go back to Carvana, right? Carvana, the entire year-long cycle from accumulation to advancing, it went from $3 to about 40. Um, here's the quad witching, re-updated quad witching curve, and these are quad witching expiration dates. What Carvana did in its year-long cycle, which is what we're showing here for AMC, is it had one breather stage in the middle. And this is where I said on the last video that it's likely that AMC had its breather stage. You can see the price goes up. There's a massive candle here. If you look at the quarterly chart, they bring the price back down. Okay, collect premiums, and then now they use all that capital to bring the price back up. Trajectory now changes if we close in this range by the next quad witching away, or pretty anywhere above $5, and you're still looking at a bullish trajectory. But in my opinion, I think this is going to be one of the bigger run-ups, and we're going to start, to tackle these double-digit price ranges. All right, so anywhere between 10 and 20, hopefully by September, end of September time, would give us that bullish trajectory. Finally, man, finally on AMC, give us a bullish trajectory. That looks like this. And we could look at these macro patterns now, guys. So Plotzy, remember Plotzy is the scanner that we use to find these macro patterns, and this is where AMC is at right now. If we look at all of these patterns, they have the same drop, they have the same period of accumulation. And here's the thing, right? You go back to these sections in the cycle and you find the same thing, right? You find the sections that look exactly the same, they're just sped up or slowed down in every single stock that we track. Okay, so here's the distribution section. You can see that it's sped up on this pattern. And it's the same thing with all the other patterns, guys. They all have their own version of it. We have Sava right here. We have a VTRX. We have TEL. And we have OCGN as well. All of them calling for upside. It just checks out, man. It just checks out. But holy crap, it's still halted. It's been an hour now, guys. An hour, and the halt continues. Oh, there it is. It's back. 1 hour, guys. 1 hour the halted lasted here. It's up 12%. All right. Okay, so we're back. Anywhere from 1 hour to weeks, and it looks like AMC just opened up here. So this is actually this is good. This is good news. Up 12% already. Looks like it gained some momentum here. Oof. All right. Awesome. Awesome. All right, guys. We're tracking this baby. Let's go. All right, so options opened up. Yep, volatility is kicking in for these options. One way to check this, very, very easy, but you can see like the furthest strike possible is typically going to have the highest IV. And right now, just based on what I can see here in the option chain, we have about 800, man. 800 on the IV is insane for weeklies. Obviously, the further you look at, the lower the IV is going to be. Crazy, crazy stuff. Look at that, a 10% push right here from the open. All right, let's see what if they threw in another catalyst or something. Let's see. Not really, man. The catalyst was just opening it back up. And it's looking healthy. Yeah, dude, this is a strong push, man. It's holding up. All right, let's bring back the volume candles here. All right, so let's reevaluate here AMC in the next few for the next few days. Okay, so we briefly crossed resistance. We didn't hold resistance yet. So this is just a brief cross. If you hold the 570 range, then it's more likely that it'll continue its rally and sort of trigger more liquidity up here at the $7 range. Volatility is key right now, right? We know that the contracts are holding the volatility well. I mean, contracts are up like 300% right now. So that's one of the things I pay attention to it when these run-ups happen is if contracts are still expensive when if the price comes down and say it fills this gap. If they're still expensive, that normally means that the market makers are trying to hold those premiums to remain at those prices, so that people are don't buy contracts, right? If they start to get back into the regular, if not cheaper than they were before it opened, then normally that's a sign that the price is going to decrease. So yeah, I mean contracts right now are up quite a bit, man. Let's see what GME's doing. GME's just up 2%. Nothing crazy. And let's pull up. It's all in one as well. Here's AMC. All right, AMC, Sava, and Beyond Meat. Okay, kind of beating the markets right now. Here's AMC on the halt in red. Back up at 8%. But yeah, guys, so if they halted this thing for a few days, yeah, the halt to the upside would have been a lot greater. Obviously, this is about a 10% push, so it's crazy. It's a big push. But yeah, I'm interested in finding out why they halted it for an hour. That seems just too short. Okay, so yeah, oh man, this looks good. So yeah, resistance had been crossed last week. So that was a cross. We did not see it on the chart. ROC guys indicator, it does a really good job at showing support and resistance levels that the chart does not show you. So you can see right here, we have clear support using ROC, and then also on the crosses, right? Treat them the same way. You will not see that on the AMC chart. Like you can't draw that line, man. It's the good thing about this indicator. So yeah, we do have a nice push here. We already crossed resistance, like I said, on the horizontal axis. So now all that's left is for AMC to continue this rally, man. Keep it going up. Classic, man. We're looking at the micro right now, 15 seconds. I do like this setup. You guys know the drill. What we do here is we look at reference patterns. Okay, reference patterns are key. Just see right off the bat, I can see Mara on the macro replicating right now on the micro for AMC. Really easy to sort of check this stuff out here. But and another way to do this, same using the changes indicator down here. I don't know about you guys, but gotta remove all this other thing. Okay, so you guys see the structure here. Okay, this is basically playing out right here on the micro. Now this is gonna tell us that coming up, we're currently trading at right now, because we don't have enough data on this pattern. I do have a few other stocks I'm tracking, actually for Mara for a continuation, and I can use that as well for AMC here on the micro chart. So it looks like it's more likely to keep this little rally going. Do I have the stock? Yeah, I do have the stock overlaid here. Here's that pattern. But I'm missing the other one, so I have to get it over here. Mara. Storage in 2020. Okay. Okay, so POI coming up. It probably does have to hold support here. It can't come down, or else we call that an inverse POI. It's where you see the most amount of volume coming in. That is where we label these POIs. So anywhere between now and the next 4-5 minutes would be the next inflow in volume. It's crazy, man, how you could see all of these patterns here do their thing on the like the extreme micro, right? The extreme micro charts. Like every little phase here is like practically playing out in its own way until it flips, right? If it flips, we have the complete opposite effect take place. And so basically what would happen here if the pattern flips is AMC would do something like this and then start climbing down, right? So far, it's still respecting support. And then also remember with these patterns, we take a look at levels. So say that it comes back down to 530. Well, then it's possible that this entire section here is just sped up on the storage A pattern here. And for AMC, it's slowed down. So we do something like this and then, keep climbing back up. That's typically the way we treat these patterns, these reference patterns, man, on Amy. Oh, man, one of the things I did not mention on the last video was this 200-day moving average, guys. Yeah, this is really bullish for AMC. Just looking at basic technicals, AMC has retested the 200-day SMA many times before, and it hasn't fully crossed it. But look at how it's narrowing here. Like it's been brushing it for 2 months, right? Ever since we hit $14 in May, it's just been brushing it. And the last time it fully crossed, right, not faked out, the last time it fully crossed was January 2021, and it stayed above for an entire year, okay? So something else to look at here, just very, like probably the most basic technical analysis indicator. I think one of the more basic one is the 200-day estimate, which is very important to track still. Very easy stuff to sort of pay attention to here, but I do think, at the end of the day, if AMC is going to run and hit the macro targets we talked about, this is something that needs to be looked at, right? And look at that. Look at how close. I mean, go on the 5-minute, and we're currently just riding the SMA. It's crazy to look at. Like, AMC is currently brushing the 200-day SMA. The SMA does not change no matter what interval you're in. It's always fixed. That's the cool thing about it. Okay, Amy, why you going down, girl? Okay, so we have a little arc formation. A few things can happen here. I'm just going to lay out some of these scenarios. Okay, so the arc setup it could turn into something like this, right? If we respect support here, or if we have an arc down, then we are developing a short-term distribution pattern, and it looks a little bit like this. So either way, I think we'll find out very soon, but that's a descending channel, right? If AMC rejects this range and climbs back down, be a descending channel. This is still, from what I've seen, a lot of the patterns that keep happening in the markets, they have a descending wedge with a fake out, and then this is basically a short-term accumulation setup. If you look at the macro charts, it fakes out, trades sideways, and then continues to rise at towards the end, right? Something like this, then breaks back up. I've seen a lot of that happening in these markets. Now let's run the scanner on Amy here intraday. I want to see what pops up. We'll run it on the Discord. All right, is Amy going to break resistance, or is Amy... see some of these matches. All right, so here's the Discord. Put it right in the middle here. When it pops up, I'll bring it back up. It's currently doing a scan on the hourly. So the hourly time frame looks like this, and it does take the regular trading hour. I did 250, so it's going to scan for this entire section here. 250 bars. Looks like that. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at this. 250 bars. This is what we got. Okay, so this one looks pretty decent. And it also has the volatility zone there. Well, this is Netflix right here. So Netflix looks like the structure of AMC right now, Netflix did in 2023. Here are some of the other ones that it's finding. Okay, what's this? Similar structure as well. Perry. And some of them are calling for downside, but because we already have the upside effect on AMC, it's more likely it would follow the ones that were climbing up. And these are also considered volatility zones. So if you look at Daku, we have it with a gap down. With AMC doing a gap up here, gives you the POI with an inverse effect. And I'm going to take a look at Netflix here. So Netflix to set November 20th through January 1st, December 2023. So right over here. Oh. All right, 250 bars. November to January. And here's the POI, guys, with a gap up right there. All right, so we take this entire section here, 250 bars. I'm going to take a little bit more. I'm going to do 278. And then we have ourselves a reference pattern. Okay, so, and then for those that ask, like, what POIs are, there's a prime example of that. We have AMC. So this entire section right here, that the Plotzy found on the scanner on Discord, is Netflix, 250 bars. And then here's that bit of data, that projection that it has. So if you take a look at the levels here, same setup. We have the spring and a continuation, and this is pretty much telling us that if the pattern here follows through, that we would see within the next few weeks, we would see that $6 range crossing resistance, macro resistance. So I do like this pattern. That, man, with the spring, like, what are the chances, bro? Look at that. With the spring, it has the same gap, the same freaking gap, dude. The same levels and everything. I mean, bro, even this is the high and low. It has the wick coming down to the same range, and then even the high is pretty much the same in this last bit here. So we'll see. I mean, it's looking like it would, man. It's looking like it would follow through, considering we have a lot of historical data here backing it up. Okay, so let's go back and look at that same range again for Netflix here, and then I'm going to go on the micro a little bit and see what's going on there. It's probably not going to allow me 5 minutes, so 15. You can see here, January 20th, 2023, we have a fake out. Right, so here at 12:45, and then the next day, treated this, the same way here for Amy. We have the fake out liquidity, trigger some stops. For Amy, 15-minute fake out with some stops. volume kicks in, volume kicks in. It trades sideways for an entire day and then continues the rally the following day. Now, I'm going to say this again. With these reference patterns, the one and the most important thing that I track are the levels. So say that this starts coming down, right? Because we have the entire 250 bars that we're tracking here. We have good structure and we have good levels. So the next to track here on the micro is that it respects the 520 range. Like even if there's a wick, sure, but look at this massive gap here on the Netflix chart. We have the gap and it never comes back down. It trades sideways between 345 and 330. It just trades in a parallel channel. So that's pretty much what we need to see happen here with AMC. It can do it in its own way. It can come down to that 520 and then maybe climb back up to 560, 570. As long as it maintains and doesn't really fill this gap down here at 510, I think that AMC can finish off and follow through here for the remainder of the week. Six. Wow, wow, wow. It's crazy, man. So AMC is up. GME's kind of taking a hit a little bit now. All right, guys. Yeah. So kind of following this halt here that lasted an hour. Um, that's gonna be key here for the next few days is retesting 580, maintaining that level, and then coming back up, crossing resistance again. That pretty much tells us that support is being respected and that we are creating a ascending trajectory, right? So parallel channel looks up like this. Right now we're right in the middle, so this would be support. Anything in the middle, guys. If we are creating a channel that's ascending, as long as we respect this mid-range here and start climbing back up, AMC should be set to climb even higher for the next few days. But yeah, crazy stuff. I personally was not expecting it to come back this early, being that it did halt for an hour. And yeah, stocks typically do that. An hour to weeks sometimes it takes. So happy that it's come back and trading, and excited to see what happens here, guys, in the next few days. We'll come up with a video and reevaluate the AMC chart cycle and some of the other patterns here either today or tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. And if you guys want more of this analysis and video updates with some of the other stocks in the market that do replicate the AMC cycle and some of these other cycles that we track, click the link below. It'll take you straight there if you want to try Plotzy. It will also be on the Discord down below. I'll see you guys on the next stream, man.